Hello everyone. In the last video of JavaScript documentation, we have seen some of the data types in JavaScript and we stop on the function part. So in this video, we're gonna see how the function works in JavaScript. So in the documentation, it says that a JavaScript function is a block of code designated to perform a particular task. So for example, if you have some repetitive tasks, right, you want to create a application which will gonna perform some activities for a particular task, and that will be need to be done in a number of time in your code. So you will write a loop, and you don't write that particular functionalities in multiple time. What you do is like you attach everything into a function and you call the function. So the execution will be multiple time of the function, and then the code will be written only once. So the syntax is like you write a function and then you give the name of the function, you pass all the parameters you need to pass. So here is p1 and p2, and you give a return type. So there is two type of function, one which has a return type, return, and one which doesn't have a return. So if we have a return, we always have to return something, a value which is a return value, and other type is like when you perform a task and doesn't return anything, that will be a void function. So this is the basic syntax for writing a function. And there is another way to write function which is called arrow function. In ES6 we have this is introduced in ES6, we have seen. So we can pass in number of parameters which is required, and this can be any data type. And in JavaScript, just remember, we can pass another function as a parameter as well, so that is also possible. So let's do some tests and see how it works. So I will open the editor. So as you see, we have a function, myFunction, and then passing 3 and 4 as a parameter, and then we have this function called function a and b as a parameter, and we are returning multiplication of a and b. And from this value what we receive, we are passing this to this inner HTML as a value, and if we run this, we see that pass value is 12. And we can do this multiple time. So for example, we have a demo, right? We can pass another demo 1, and then we can do this another time also. Let's say this is a y, and let's say we put 10 multiplied by 11, and then we can say y and demo 1, and if we run it, we see that 10 multiplied by 11 is 1 on 0. We can have another function also written here, function 2, which will do, instead of multiplication, it do the addition, let's say. So what we can pass is the function 2 here. We can pass, we see that is 21 because 10 plus 11 is 21. So that's how the function works. So just always remember, this function is always kinds of like data type is a function. So we can assign this function into a variable as well. So we'll see that in arrow function as well. So that's the functionality of function. Let's see other details also, right? So for example, if we open the inspect, we can set a function into a variable also. So let's say var1 equals to myFunction receive maybe parameter as a and b, and this is the arrow syntax, arrow function syntax we are using. Then we can return a multiply b. Okay, so if we say var1, then we see is a function, and we see type of var1 is a function, and we can call the function by var1 passing a as 10, b as maybe 12. We have this 1 to 0. Same thing, we can write a normal function as well. Instead of this, we can do function, and we don't need this arrow. that's also possible. Now we, if we do, is same thing. And if we say type of is a function, let's see what are the, okay, we can define new variable also inside the function. Let's say bar2 equal to 10 and return into bar2. Okay, so we can now, if we pass this, you see that a multiply b is equal to 120 and multiply by 10 is 1200 is the value. So that's the thing. And what else? That's the function. Okay, we can print anything inside the value also. So we can do all the functionalities what we can do in normal JavaScript inside the function. Other than that, let's see about the new one, object. So previously in the video we have detailed explained what is the object, and now if we see the example here, right, we have example called person, which is a first name, last name, and eye color and age. So we can define into a object itself. And then how to access a object value we have seen previously, but in the object itself we can define a function as well. So if we see the example, we copy the example, right, what we have seen is that in the person the first name is John, last name is Doe, id, then full name is a function which is defining to this first name and this last name. Why this is a this? Because when you put a this, it will define to not this but this global person itself. Now if we say that person dot first name, we know this first name, but what if we call full name? It is a function, so what we have to do to execute, we have to put the parentheses. And we could have this function as a parameter also, we could have add extra, like let's say param, and we can append this param also. Now if we send the param value, we see that param value also is used here. So from this param itself, here also we can pass function, object, or anything is based on our requirement. So that's it for this video. We'll see in the next week. Just for a announcement, I have been trying to put all the video in every week, and if you have any question, feel free to ask in the comment box. Also do share with your friends and do subscribe if you think that this is useful. Have a good weekend.